So it's my second video this week reacting to something a New York Jets head coach said. Not my plan necessarily, but guys, they got to stop saying crazy things. And not going to rant about it, but I do think this one is more important because the comments we've all been reacting to by Saleh are more bulletin board kind of material, right? But this one actually has implications of the Jets' strategy and how they're going to line up and play some ball. And we're Garrett Wilson. Okay, big talking point was Garrett Wilson's limited snaps against the Baltimore Ravens. Robert Saleh, I feel like answered the question pretty well. I felt fine about his answer to the question after the games, explained their strategy with the multiple tight end sets, how it wasn't working, how they adjusted. And I'm like, all right, cool. It's a 1 week thing. Garrett Wilson's going to be lining up a bunch on Sunday against the Browns. Then Mike LaFleur gives his answer, and he goes straight to crazy town. He's talking about how, Garrett Wilson needs to learn the X and the Z and the Y and the F and the Batman symbol position. When they run the annexation of Puerto Rico, he's got to be right in the spot and all this. And I get it. It's a complicated offense for a young wide receiver. And then he goes on to finish it by saying, quote, those things need to be at 100%, and Garrett knows that, unquote. Mike LaFleur, brother, what about your offense's performance on Sunday was at 100%? Please tell me that. And he's talking about accountability for knowing the offense in and out, kind of like Denzel Mims, more on that in a minute. But what about accountability for bad play? The guy's playing over him. Lawrence Cager has a horrendous penalty and then falls down, leading directly to an interception. Lawrence Cager, like that he's on the team, but doesn't even have a catch. I didn't expect to see Lawrence Cager on the field unless we had injuries. Tight end number 4, converted wide receiver, undrafted, playing over a top 10 pick. Now, and it's not reacting to just one game, because when is Garrett Wilson going to be at 100%? Like, what is Mike LaFleur's criteria for 100%? Guys, we can't make this a thing. This can't become a thing heading through the early parts of this season with a top 10 pick. And speaking of accountability for bad play, Corey Davis seems to have a free pass to drop as many balls as he wants. I mean, when he dropped that ball in the first quarter, my soul left my body. That was just such a gut punch, man. It was huge. And Garrett Wilson was the most efficient Jets wide receiver. On a per snap basis, he had the most yards per snap. And there were only 2 Jets players who were targeted in the passing game against the Ravens. Only 2 out of 8 who did not have a drop, a fumble, or a penalty. And that was Garrett Wilson and Braxton Berrios. But he's got to be at 100% with the play. But what rookie is at 100%? Sauce Gardner's not at 100% right now. He's playing every snap. And I look for trends in the things coaches say, right? Some things mean more than others. And this to me is a trend. Now, the trend I like from Mike LaFleur is he's creative as hell. I mean, if nothing else, Mike LaFleur, he is the opposite of a vanilla play caller. We saw that last year. He was a madman. Most creativity on the headset I've seen from a Jets OC in a long time. And I think there were stretches of time where the Jets offense actually overachieved last year, given the injuries and the talent. So I like Mike LaFleur. But I'm getting a trend with this coaching staff in general. It's just a trend. It's not confirmed. Maybe it's a little unfair, but I'm getting a little bit of ego and stubbornness, and I'm getting a little bit of our system over the talent. I think Mike LaFleur sometimes is trying to be the smartest guy in the room. And I don't want to hear that, not playing a top 10 pick when you haven't had a 1,000-yard wide receiver in 6 years. You haven't taken a wide receiver in the first round in 20 years. You're bottom 5 in scoring last year, and you're playing 4D chess because he's got to know everything at 100% in the offense. That's crazy. That's crazy. Especially when our coaching staff, Robert Saleh is saying everyone instant coffee and, Peep, it's not going to fit. You're not going to fix Rome in a day. Well, if this is just a rebuild year and you want to buy time and ask us to be patient, then the young guys got to play. I mean, if we're just rebuilding, I don't know why we can't rebuild with Garrett Wilson on the field. I need to see it. Show me it. Show me Garrett Wilson playing a bunch of snaps and him failing and him being on the field messing up this fine-tuned offense that we have. And then if that's the case, then we could sit him back down, okay, and let him simmer. Show me it. I don't believe you. I don't believe that him not knowing exactly perfectly where to be is going to be a hindrance to this offense or to him developing. I don't believe that, man. That's just the production. You roll the tape, and I rewatched it, but guys like Robbie Sabo, who have a more trained eye to notice these things, he's putting out clips on Twitter, and Garrett Wilson is open, like immediately, all the time. Two touchdowns that were missed, one by Flacco not seeing him, and one by the pass protection not holding up. He cooks Marlon Humphrey, crosser over the middle for a touchdown. You know, and And the thing that Coach Sala says when this is brought up, and I don't want to kill the coaching staff this week, guys, but they've had a brutal week at the podium. It's been tough because Coach Sala is asked about Garrett Wilson, and he mentions, oh, he's got to stick the ball out an extra half inch to get the first down. Coach, it was only that close because he broke 3 tackles on a play where your entire offense caved. And your 87-year-old quarterback threw up a prayer. And Garrett Wilson gave you a chance. And you know what he didn't do? If he tries to stick that ball out in the rain, he might fumble it. And he's one of the only players on the entire team that didn't fumble or have a drop. And I know a talking point has been, Robert Saleh and the staff doesn't hold any players accountable. I don't know if that's true. And we don't always know what's going on behind the scenes. But I do think there's some inconsistency and there's a little bit of like nepotism with the accountability. Because for Robert Saleh to bring that up, he didn't nudge forward an extra half inch after juking half the Ravens defense. But, to not lay into the guard from his former team, Laken Tomlinson, who got the bag and got mollywopped and made a mid defensive tackle look like Warren Sapp. But we're worried about Garrett Wilson not nudging the ball forward 2 centimeters, and that's why he can't be on the field. Crazy. I mean, I looked at some other wide receivers. I mean, Jamar Chase, for example. Jamar Chase played over 90% of the snaps in his first game. Is Garrett Wilson Jamar Chase? Only one way to find out. Is to play him. Garrett Wilson had more yards per snap in his first game than Jamar Chase did. And Garrett Wilson was a top 10 pick and allegedly the 5th best player on the Jets board, and Jamar Chase was the 5th overall pick. So there's only one way to find out, man. He's got to play. And it brings us back to the Mims thing. And with Mims, it's not a perfect comparison because, Mims was drafted for a different coaching staff. He wasn't as good of a prospect. He dealt with, COVID and food poisoning, so he was behind in the playbook. And when he did get his opportunities last year, he wasn't very good. Okay, so I kind of, although I had Mims back, and I kind of also understood, okay, maybe there's a reason. I'll give the coaching staff the benefit of the doubt that they're doing everything they can, but Mims just isn't quite up to snuff. But just a few more weeks of this with Garrett Wilson, which Mike LaFleur alluded to with the 100% comment, I'm going to lose my mind. As much as I love Braxton Berrios, I'm glad Lawrence Cager is on the team and CJ Uzama. Oh, my God. Garrett Wilson's got to play, man. You got a top 10 pick that is begging to play on Instagram with his team. Look, Garrett Wilson doesn't need training wheels. All right? You got to turn him loose. Go Jets.